Jack Lavoie here from myfloridaappraiser.com. I was doing an appraisal here and someone said, "Oh, what's it selling for?" And it got to me thinking, there's so many different types of appraisals and uses, and they all have specific guidelines that need to be taken care of. They each have their own different effective dates and also intended users. As far as the intended users, perhaps it's an estate. And many times in a estate appraisal, there might be, you might have to do it on a date of death appraisal, the date of passing. Perhaps the current heirs want a current market value. They want to know what it is at a particular point in time, because they want to go sell it. A divorce could have an effective date of, the date of separation, date of filing, or just, again, a current date. It would depend on what the attorneys are looking for and what they want to present potentially in court. You could have a FEMA 50 appraisal. A FEMA 50 appraisal may have an effective date of, let's say, a day before a hurricane, or it could be effective date of when you are trying to apply for a permit. Tax abatement. Hey, we can't use today's date because the taxes are based on January 1 of the tax year. So we got to make sure that the effective date lines up with the date that the assessor, Lee County, Charlotte County, or wherever you're in Florida, matches up the assessments. And then there's intended user. For a normal bank appraisal, intended user is the lender, and that's not the case. For an estate, it could be the heirs, it could be the courts, probate court, the attorneys. For divorce, certainly the courts, the attorneys, and obviously the client asking for the report. On a FEMA 50, it's going to be the permitting boards. Who's deciding that they want to, they're going to issue the permit or not. That needs to be, they're an intended user as well as the client. And of course, on a tax abatement, the intended user would be the taxing authority. So a lot of complexities. Each one of those also will have a definition of value, whether it's market value, IRS, fair market value definition. So really want to make sure when you have an appraisal done that it's right effective date, right intended user, right definition of value. My name is Jack Lavoie, myfloridaappraiser.com.